Everybody loves a black woman. Black woman. Hey, yeah. Black woman.
All right, y'all. It is officially the first episode of The Sunny Side, and I did not come by myself. I am here with my brother, Juan Marcel Smith Jr. He's in the building, and we literally just decided to do this podcast because I'm tired of kids dying. I'm tired of kids dying. So Juan, tell us a little bit about yourself so we can jump into talking about why kids shouldn't be dying in 2023.
Hey, like Sonny said, with my full government,
they're gonna look you up.
This, and I can be found on IG, and this is Juan Marcel.
Period.
But yeah, so my background is in secondary education. I have for the past 10 plus years worked with inner city programs, worked for agencies like Upward Bound, Project Grad, just any community organization that is set on working with the underrepresented, underserved populations, just the kids that look like us, that are of color. And so I've done a lot of work with that. I'm a mentor, a child advocate. You know, I believe in advocating.
Juan got a million jobs.
Look, whatever it takes to help them find their voice, and their freedom, their liberation, and who they are and who they desire to be.
I love that.
I'm there. What does that look like? I want to help either figure it out, create it, and help them build that table so they can have, and they can whatever that voice is, whatever that message is, they have access to it.
So I love what you just said. You said, I'm here to do whatever it takes to get these kids liberated. We know this week, I mean, all year long, it's been a crazy year. I think Juan and I were looking up some stats, and it said that the U.S. surpassed 125 mass shootings in 2023 alone. This is January. This is March. This is the end of March. We in the first quarter. Like we here. We in this first quarter, and unfortunately, it said that we've actually topped out at one a day? Was it like one? Like one mass shooting a day? Now understanding it's kind of every state kind of describes defines what a mass shooting is a little differently. So, there's that caveat. But we do know that there is a problem with irresponsible gun ownership. There is a problem with it. There's a problem when kids, when suddenly unlocked guns are, at the top of the charts, reasons why kids are dying. That this over car accidents, like this is wild. And so this week, we heard the story of what happened in Tennessee, and just watching another tragedy. And I just could not go about my week and just act like I could get past it. Like, this is something I can't get past. I talked to some of my colleagues, and that, a lot of us aren't ready to discuss this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't ready. I got 5-year-old kids. You know what I'm saying? I have a 17-year-old. I got kids all in that spectrum, in that age bracket. And I just cannot imagine sending my kid to school and they not coming home. Yeah. Like, how do we do that? And I'm just tired of us. Number one, I don't have the privilege of not saying anything. I'm upset. I'm angry. I might cry today. But I just feel like, we got to stop. We can't just pray. We got the Holy Spirit. We get it. The Holy Spirit is going to empower us to get out and do something. We cannot be held up in a room and just lifting up prayers, because faith without works is dead. So now, where is the action that's coming? I'm like, where are we marching? Are we going to talk to our capital, our governmental leaders? Are we emailing them? Are we calling them? I put them up on speed dial. Every time something going, I'm calling.
Yeah.
I'm leaving a message. I don't even have to talk to nobody, but I want to know that I'm doing something. But how do we get here? Juan, in your opinion, how do we get to this place where kids are going to school and not coming home? All right, Juan. Juan is defining what a mass shooting, what the definition of mass shooting. Who said this? CNN?
So CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Economist, the BBC, etc., defines a mass shooting as any incident in which 4 or more people are shot, whether they're injured or killed.
Wow.
4 or more.
So 4 or more. So every day of 2023, you telling me that 4 or more people were shot every single day by one, that maybe it doesn't have to be one shooter, but in one incident.
Yes. So there was an event involving shooting of 5 or more people.
I have 7 children. So you telling me that if my kids split up and was with maybe one of their friends, that is highly likely
that each day
for
2 or 3 days.
I don't like, how are we supposed to like allow our kids to go? How you let them walk out the house at this point? Like, this is beyond to me. So, okay, that's the definition. Now, how did we get here? How do we get to the point where kids are no longer safe in classrooms? How do we get here?
And see, that goes going back to the whole talk just about gun violence in and of itself, and the loopholes in authorizing individuals, even minors, to operate and purchase guns for no reason.
Wait, can minors purchase them? Are you serious? Okay, now Juan is getting ready to school me right here, because I mean, I did know, some of those, we live in the South, and so, you got folks who were raised responsibly with guns, like with rifles or things like that. I'm really talking about these AR-15s, but I just can't imagine that you can't. How old you got to be to buy cigarettes? I don't know. See, I don't smoke. I know you got to be 21 to drink.
Yeah. But see, that's
you got to be 18 to go to war.
To go to war,
where they teach you, and this is the thing. So at 18, you can go to the military. They're gonna teach you how to operate an AR-15, essentially, if that's the course you're taking. You got to be 18 to go on and do that. But right now, currently, Georgia's law says you have to be 21 to go and purchase the gun. However, you ain't got to do no. When I got mine, I had to do a license, you know what I'm saying, or something. They gave me do something, but I mean, I wasn't buying an AR-15 either. So how is it that I can sign up, I can go to war, I can learn how to operate these, but when I come home, do I not bring my gun? I don't know. I don't know if it's property of the government. I don't know how these things work. I just am trying to figure out, how do we get. It used to be that we were worried about, and we still are, about issues in the neighborhood, about even gun violence in the neighborhood is on a huge rise. But as I start to kind of unpack, some of this historical context, that some of the lies that our history teachers told us, I'm realizing, like, wait, how guns getting in these hoods and these people don't have money? Like, you start looking at what the Black Panthers started to really uncover. And it was like, wait a minute, a lot of these drugs didn't just show up.
Right.
Somebody dropping these drugs on, and we can't afford.
That's the real conversation right there, because the truth is, we don't have any connection to the cartel.
No. We don't.
We know these people. But yet these packages, and you know what packages I'm talking about, these packages and these weapons show up in our neighborhood.
They showing up in the hood where your mama's water ain't on. So even if you I'm looking at even some of these drug dealers, and I'm like, now, my experience is a little different in that, I got love for the ex-felon, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother, you know what I'm saying, turned his life around, So I'm always gonna support, and I believe in criminal justice, and I understand that there's been a huge criminal misjustice that has happened, particularly to Black and brown boys, for centuries. And so, sometimes we start looking at, like, somebody said to me, well, we worried about this, somebody who's a staunch, gun supporter. he was like, well, y'all worried about this. Well, what about black on black crime? And I was like, well, statistically, those who are doing these mass murders are white men. So is that white on white crime? I don't know, and statistically, y'all have gone to white areas. That demographic has gone to white areas. I said, so it's not about who's doing it, who isn't. I'm just trying to figure out how to make sure my kids come home.
It's the access to these. Look, I read this is from Mike Thompson, a United States Congressman, his website, and he says that he's talking about his bipartisan bill just to expand the background checks, right? So I'll read you an excerpt from it. He says, our background check system works. This is what he claims it works, right? Mm-hmm. He said, every year, background checks stops 88,000 gun sales to criminals, domestic abusers, individuals with dangerous mental illnesses, or other prohibited purchases. However, in some states, those same individuals can buy identical guns at gun shows, or over the internet, or through a newspaper ad without any questions asked.
Yeah. It's these loopholes.
The gun shows, you can buy them. Pawn shops, you can buy them.
I don't get it. I don't get how we're able to say, hey, this is okay, that there's a wraparound. Let me tell you something. If my license expired,
there's no loophole.
They be like, all right, if it's supposed to be on this day,
right?
Let that tag expire.
But you said this when you talked about, the ex-felon. When it comes to,
oh my goodness,
the life of a criminal, he's been in jail, especially people of color.
Yeah.
Of color.
Yeah.
There's no loophole to him, because if he goes to try to get a job, there's no way around his record.
Yep.
So you can't work here because you have been convicted of X, Y, and Z.
There's no
loophole
to
that. But there's a loophole to me getting my hands on these guns and these weapons.
I was on Instagram. I actually just shared it on Instagram, where there was one of the congressmen was talking, and he said, y'all talking about gun violence. He was like, I'm sorry. He said, y'all out here, these kids were in their rooms reading and got killed and murdered in their classroom, and y'all out here banning books.
Yeah.
He said dead kids can't read. And I just thought about, that thing shook me. I was like, y'all out here doing all of this, spending all this money, spending all this time in legislation to talk about books, to talk about CRT, to talk about what DeSantis called it, the woke agenda.
Yep. But see, that's what I honestly believe is. I honestly believe that Congress, the government I think that they are thoroughly aware of what the real issues are. And because they're aware of these real issues, they then send out distractors. So then we focus our attentions on these matters that matter, but are not as important as gun laws, gun violence, and then just safety on our school campus.
Yeah.
So like you said, so while we start arguing and fighting about banning history books or informational materials, they're walking in schools and shooting them up.
Well, but the truth is, I mean, at the end of the day, no matter what entity you are a part of, what organization you are a part of, at the end of the day, they following the money. Mm-hmm. The truth is in our capitalistic society, we have a problem in America with making sure that those who have money, who are rich, are the first ones listened to, no matter what entity we are part of. And so, because so many people are a part of this ideology that supports being able to purchase any gun whenever you want to, however you want to, as soon as you want to, no background check, all of that. This specific group of people historically have a lot of money, and they give the money to these elected officials. So that's the problem. That's why I always said, like, people would you would ask me, like, are you a Democrat, are you a Republican? I'm like, I'm neither, because I understand that in order for you to get to the top, you had to do this. I scratch my you scratch my back, I'm gonna scratch yours. You have to in order to be successful. You know how much money they caught? I think I looked it up for what was it, Trump and Biden's their race. I mean,
Millions,
trillions. You know what I'm saying? What on a race that you betting a 50% somebody gonna lose?
Amount of money that's spent, not even just spent, that's contributed.
That's it.
Given.
And that's my point. So these people who have this amount of money, these people that this amount of money, these are the people that are behind it. So what happens is they like, y'all go worry about all this other stuff, because this is what we want to do. Mm-hmm. The truth is the money controls this country. Yep. The money controls this country because of the way that we operate. And unfortunately, and I'm all about, having your millions, billions, trillions. I'm all about, if you want to be an entrepreneur, be an entrepreneur. If you want to be, I'm not against that by any means. What I am saying is, because your voice is rich, shouldn't make more noise than mine who is in poverty. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And if I ain't never been in poverty, I shouldn't be making all of the decisions for people who are in poverty. People who are in poverty should be telling me exactly what they need. I can't come in as the rich savior to come and do it, and I ain't never had a bologna sandwich. I ain't never had a fried bologna sandwich. I ain't never ate ramen noodles
because of my money, my socioeconomic status. I get to make decisions about people who are impoverished, but I've never been at that level, so I don't even know. But I get to tell you,
these are kids. Somebody's like, as a mom, you're a father. Yes. Like, as a parent, I'm like, heck no, I'm a kid homeschooling my kids. It makes me be like, I gotta make other moves
on any given day.
On any given day, and it could be anywhere. Now I'm saying school, right, and y'all know I love education. We got 2 educators on here, so please don't nobody come for me talking about that. I'm just saying I wasn't ready to talk about this, and I'm talking about it anyway. But hey, yeah, it could be anywhere. I mean, it's people in the mall. Like when we was looking at all of these different students, people in the mall,
movie theaters, church.
They go where? And I'm like, what can we do? I'm like, but again, I truly, truly believe all of this starts. This is why people hear me say youth church matters all the time. This is why I believe Jesus said, suffer the little children, let them come. I believe that if we would just stop and turn and sow money, resources, and time into young people, a lot of these issues would not happen. I think I was on the Nextdoor app, and I think you commented on it, because people were complaining about the teens doing something, and I said, "Are we going to?" I think I'm a Girl Scout troop leader. I mean, I like it now, but this wasn't something that I really had time to do. However, I understood that there were girls in this community that needed this, that needed the community of other little girls like this, like them, and needed to see Black women leading Girl Scouts that they could look up to. I understood that.
It's the community idea. Think about it. All that you've experienced as a child up until now led you, right, to where you are because of what you received. However you received it, somebody took the time and spent time with you to guide you, to mentor something. So when you got older, you wanted to give it back. Because look, with the young lady who did the mass shooting the other day at school, that's the school she attended when she was younger. Yeah. So somewhere there's a disconnection, because she went back to the school that she attended. To massacre lives at the school that she was once a part of, the community that she was once a part of. What happened? Yeah. And I say that to say, to your point, I agree that it matters what we're doing now.
It matters what we're doing.
The environments and the atmospheres that we are creating should be conducive to the lives that our young people want to live. I'll say a year from now, because look where we are, and we're going into the second quarter.
That's it.
So the lives that they want to live just a year or 6 months from now, we should be taking the time. And like you said, whether we feel like it or not, their lives are worth our sacrifice, or us missing a nap, or missing something, from day to day, just to ensure that they have what they need, and not just the materials or just the education, but even just the time.
Just the time. And that's
because just in time somebody tells me, if someone spends the time with me, and I know, and I'm aware that daddy got to work, mama got to work, all this stuff is going on, but my dad took me to get ice cream. My teacher, my counselor, my coach leader, my coach.
Yes.
Somebody in the community took time to give me a lollipop, to take me here, to even just listen while I'm going on. Then it makes me feel like I matter.
Yeah. Yeah. And it makes me feel like if I'm about to make a bad choice, I know that I'm coming to somebody. I had this teacher. He actually wasn't my teacher. He was, the PE teachers. It was like 4 teachers in the gym at one time, so they could have like a large class. And so he was one of the other teachers, but he was the only male African American teacher I've ever seen. I didn't have him, but in that area, he was the only one I had ever seen while I was in school. And so it was my freshman year, and I had just started playing softball. Every coach, Mark Mitchell, everybody knows him. His daughter's Kelsey Mitchell. She plays for the Indiana Fever now. He coached at Ohio State University. Just a phenomenal guy. And he just built relationships. I had just started playing softball. Every morning I would come in and I would just have my glove, and he would get my bat and just hit pepper to me every morning. Kids be going, we be ready to go to school. I would get to school early, and for 30 minutes he just be hit, because I was just learning. He taught me how to crow hop, how to throw. Like, he was like, I'm gonna just show you how to do it. I had natural talent, but he showed me the skills. And so I remember that summer of my going into my sophomore year, I was out trying to be fast somewhere, trying to hook up with some little dude, and I heard Coach Mitchell's voice in my head, like, Sonny, get your tail back to the house. I said, oh, I gotta go. I gotta go. I'll see y'all later. And I remember coming to school. It was like on a Saturday. And I remember coming to school Monday. I was like, yo, Coach, I heard your voice this week. He was like, yeah, people say that happens a lot. This man has gone on to coach, college. He's coached his children. He's coached tons. He went back into the inner city to coach kids. And he's just doing such amazing things. But again, it was this other voice. Yes. You know what I'm saying? It was another voice. My parents was, I'm a teenager. My parents getting on my nerves at that point. But it takes community. When I say, how did we get here? We got here because the collaborative effort has literally, the voice of the community. It's gone. Yes. It has gone away. We don't have time. The reason we don't have time is, just like I said on that neighborhood post, these parents are working 2 jobs. Yes. The price of living has gone up, but the wages have not gone up. Yep. So we got folks who, and I'm not just talking about this particular incident in Tennessee, I'm talking about guns, period, and crime and violence, period. The truth is when grandmothers and them had to start going to work, these latchkey kids started coming home, they just be doing, and they don't mean to get in trouble. Like, it starts off innocent. But what happens is everybody know, you work with kids, you open play is like the devil's playground. Like, I'll be like, you need organized games. I'm all about organized chaos, right? But when we don't do it, so, as I was growing up, the deacons, elders, my dad at the church, they was all the football coaches of the community. So our churches were growing, our community centers were growing, and it wasn't because somebody was preaching revivals on the corner. They was at the football games. It was all the preachers, it was all the firefighters, and it was all the EMTs. And to this day, Coach Mike, my dad, all of them, everybody know Hilltop Hawks in Cincinnati, Ohio. Everybody knew that's what they did. And so they saved a lot of kids. And I miss that. I miss seeing that community where it's like, what happened? I think that's what happened with this baby. This baby somehow didn't get community. And I know it to be true. And I don't even know the baby. But I know it to be true because when you feel like you are alone, you are desperate. And desperate people will do anything. They'll do anything. They don't got no food.
It's that whole adage that any amount of attention is going to take, even bad attention, And you said something just about community, and you made me think about this. 2 things. When you talked about your coach and your mentor, I remember someone I still call Pops to this day. Met him when I was 14, and he was our basketball coach then. We called him Coach Woods. Now he's a pastor in Chattanooga, Tennessee. But throughout the years, he connected with me when I was 14. And I remember going to Winter Circle We had to win the circle back then, you know, right? And then we had to show up. It was like, what, at 7:30, 7:15, it was early in the morning, but we showed up, they had breakfast. But I remember when we opened up, he called me on stage one day, and this is the auditorium for my peers, and he was like, no, pray for us. I was like, so embarrassed, but he pushed me to do it. And I remember him saying to me, he's like, Juan, son, you have no idea what you said. Someone might have been in need of that. Yeah. They might not have said to you, but son, so you don't realize a life that you just saved. And you're afraid thinking of yourself as person, which I get it. Yeah. But standing in front of them, letting them know that you're bold enough to still put it out there because you care about them, they're able to go on another day. Right? This is what he's saying to a young black boy at 14. Yeah. Yeah. That he ended up becoming the chaplain at University of Tennessee, Knoxville, brought me on as assistant chaplain. All of these years that he stepped out and he was pouring into me, challenging me, it helped redirect some things, especially the times my father wasn't in the house. Yeah. He said, no, I know what you want to do, but here's an idea, here's a suggestion, here's a recommendation. He took the time, like you said, that's made the sacrifice to say, and he would call me when I went to college. I didn't go to church. My mom would call every Sunday. I didn't see you. Okay, Mom, I'm not going to that. I got papers. But I wanted to do all this other stuff. You know what he would do? He drove to campus. Yeah. He said, well, let's go get something. Let's go to crickets.
Drop in. Them drop in.
Let's go to varsity. Let's go get a hot dog.
Mentors.
Exactly. And he wasn't just drilling into me all the time. He was like, no, let's go get something. So what's going on? Yep. Who you dating? What you watching? Yeah. All this, because what he was doing was building community with each other. Yeah. He was building rapport and trust with me. So at any stage of my life, he got me at high school. Yeah. He got me at college. Yeah. When I graduated, he was there every stage of my life. He said, hey, so what's going on? As we get on, and I didn't realize until I got older, like, you took it upon yourself to check in at every pivotal moment of my life to say, hey, I'm still here, what's going on? Yeah. And offering guidance, advice, whatever that looked like at every stage of my life. Someone took that, and of course there were other people, but you made me think about that. Yeah. That the conversation was still always flowing at every pivotal part of my life. So when I, like you said, when I was making bad decisions, and then went from Coach Woods to pastor, now I said, hey, Pops, this is what's going on. Yeah. He wasn't setting out to be a father figure, but he became a father figure because he parented me. And that's it, because he became a part of the village. Yes. And that's exactly what we got to get back to. So like the question we asked at the top was, how did we get here? We figured, that's how we got here. We lost the village. Yes. And now it's like, all right, how do we get back here? And the truth is, I'm challenging everybody, like this week, literally, go to your local YMCA, go to your Boys and Girls Club, go to your church, go to the Parks and Rec department, go to the PTSA meetings, the PTA, the board, go to the PTA meetings for the district. Go to the board meetings, whether you got kids there or not. Yes. Go to the board because they will listen to what you have to say. Go to your HOA. Yes. Whatever it is, go to them. And I literally am challenging every single person to sign up to volunteer. Sign up to volunteer. Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, whatever. Sign up to volunteer. We are losing a whole generation because we stopped being the village. Yes. We have to take the responsibility on that. I don't expect kids to take on responsibility. They're immature. Their brains haven't even completely evolved yet. They ain't even got to their level yet. This adult decisions that we have to make, and they have to be challenged, because I don't want anybody else to be like Evelyn Dieckhaus, who was 9 years old, Mike Hill, who was 61, William Kinney, who was 9, Katherine Koonce, who was 60, Cynthia Peak, who was 61, and Hallie Scruggs, who was 9 years old. 9. I don't want anybody else to be like that. No one else. Look at this. Our daughters. It's crazy. Savannah will be 9 in October. It's crazy. My goddaughter will be 10. She's 9 now, 10 in May. My godson just turned 8. So it makes it real. You know, when you think about, these are the ages of our kids, our god kids, nieces and nephews, family, friends, all of it. I got girls in the Girl Scouts that's 9 years old who wake up full of joy because they get to go see their friends, and they're going to school, they're going to the movies, they're going out, whatever social event is going on, just to have a good time. Yep. And someone who lost their connection to their village, or maybe never had it, just shows up because they're angry. With this displaced anger, displaced emotions, with no one to talk to for whatever reason. Yeah.
So the next
hurt
time,
people.
hurt people. And the next time you see a kid that looks like they got an attitude, stop and talk to them. You ain't got to force them.
They just want to be heard. They just want to
talk
feel like
to
they
them.
matter.
Ask them, are you good?
That's
You want
that's
something
how
to
we
eat?
do it.
That's what I want to talk
the
about.
conversation makes it to the Senate.
Get them kids
to the
some
Congress.
DoorDash and McDonald's.
Buy them a meal.
That's what they want.
Buy them a meal.
It literally starts with one thing I love. My pastor always said, you don't really know. Bishop says you don't really know somebody until you sit down and break bread with them. And then he actually goes on to say until you have dessert with them.
And dessert is his thing. But he also says this: you may not can do everything, but you can do something.
You can do something, and it only works when we all do it. When we all do it. So we challenging y'all this week. Listen, thank y'all so much. I had not planned for this podcast to actually come out into the fall, but I couldn't be a parent, and I couldn't be an advocate. Not even a parent. I couldn't be an advocate, and I couldn't be somebody who's concerned about the next generation of my community, globally the community. I couldn't be somebody like that and not say something. So again, we challenge y'all, get involved this week. We want to hear how y'all are getting involved. Please sign up and make a difference in a child. Support your local teachers, support them. Tell them you love them, you appreciate them. Highly likely they're afraid.
Yes.
And they're still doing the job. So please do continue to support. You can hit up Juan this week on, what's the name of it?
This is Juan Marcel.
This is Juan Marcel. Make sure you follow him. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of To the Sunny Side. Keep your sunny side up. Y'all have a great week.